Hi everybody, Ellen here. Today I come to you guys with my sort of list of the best read of 2019. So yeah, I haven't put any of these books in a particular order because that's just way too hard. So I'm just going to mention my top 10 favorite books of 2019. It was really hard just to choose 10 books because I read a lot of really great books this year and I read a lot of really great series, but yeah, I'm going to do my best to summarize it all. So the first book I actually read in 2019 was a 5-star kind of read, and that was Ensam Kvar by Rihanna Naveen, and this is actually about a school shooting. So we get to follow this 6-year-old boy named Zach, and his school actually gets a school shooter that kills a lot of kids and teachers and everything like that, and Zach's older brother happens to be one of the ones that dies, and we sort of get to follow from Zach's point of view. He's actually locked in this sort of closet with his entire class, and he doesn't know that his brother is one of them that actually died, and it's just pretty much about following through those events, but also about you know, trying to get back on your feet after losing someone in this sort of event. And it was really heartfelt. It was such like a hard and difficult read, but I felt it was really well written and it was so freaking good, and I read it all in one day, and I really think that she did a very good job with it, and it definitely deserves to be on this list. And then we also have Thunderhead by Neil Schusterman. This is the second book in the Arc of Scythe series. I ended up reading The Toll this year as well, but I actually think that The Thunderhead was my favorite book in this series. This is about a world where you can't die of age or disease or anything like that, and if you actually try to die or whatever, you will actually just be kind of resurrected again, and you can only die if a scythe actually gleans you, because then you can't be brought back to life. It's a really interesting premise, and the second book was definitely a lot of happenings, a lot of different, like a lot of action going on and a lot of sort of mysteries coming unveiled a little bit, and it ends with such a huge freaking cliffhanger, and the ending is just so well written, so it just really deserves to be on this list. And we actually have more along the lines of a series, really, because it's Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. I read, I think, all of the books this year, starting really early in the year, and I've read the 5 first books in the series, and I love it so much. We meet this girl named Sophie Foster, and she finds out that she's not human. She's in fact an elf, and she gets taken into the elven world, gets to go to this magic school to learn her powers and her abilities and stuff like that. And it's so amazing, and I love this book so much. Actually, the book 3, 4 and 5 in the same month, and they're like enormous. I really enjoyed the series. So far, I think my favorite book is Lodestar, which is the 5th book if I have to choose one, but they're all just amazing, and I really look forward to continuing on with this series during 2020. We actually have another series, and that is the Cemani series by Taran Matharu, and this is sort of also about magic abilities, but it's more of a, we meet this orphan called Fletcher, and he actually accidentally uses someone else's summoning ladder, and he summons a demon, and he gets to go to magic school and find out how to, you know, work together with the demon and learn magic and everything like that. And I just love it because there's so many different races. There's humans and dwarves and elves and orcs and a lot of demons, so much freaking action and war, and it's awesome, honestly. And I think I read the entire trilogy this year, but I think my favorite was the Inquisition, or just Inquisition. I don't know, is it the in the beginning? But that is the second book, and I think that was my favorite, but it's really hard to choose. But a really great series overall. And then we have Deviate by J. Kristoff. This is the second book in the Lifelike series. I don't really know how many books it's going to be, but I reread the first book this year and it was still amazing. Then I read Deviate, and in this series we meet this girl named Evie, and she is sort of in this sort of robot fight in the beginning of the first book, and suddenly everybody finds out that she has this kind of weird ability, you know. And suddenly she is hunted by all of these people that wanted to kind of kill her because she's, you know, a deviate. And she ends up finding this lifelike in this sort of like trash place, and it turns out to be Ezekiel, and he's sort of being a lifelike is sort of like a very human looking robot. You can't really tell that it's a robot unless you like cut them open really. And they end up taking him with them and thinking they maybe can scrap him for parts or maybe get him working again or something like that. And then they get attacked at Evie's house and they try to escape. Shit goes freaking down. It is awesome. And I remember saying that after finishing the second book, I really needed like therapy because there was so much happening and so many emotions. You meet so many new characters to just love from like the get-go, and it was so hard to see them go because I really wanted to read more about them right away. But yeah, it was an amazing book. Now we have Slutet by Mats Strandberg. This is actually, I think, the only Swedish book on this list, so I at least read one. But this one is about people finding out that the world is supposed to end. There's this big comet coming down and going to crash on Earth. They have 1 month left to live, and we get to follow our main character. He's 17, he's in high school, and he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life before, you know, the world ends and everything like that. And it's just really like hard hitting subject really, because they're trying to figure out who they want to spend the rest of the time they have left with, and there's a lot of like different decisions. There's just a lot of twists and turns you don't really expect. You get sort of a subplot during the book as well, which I don't really want to tell what it is because I feel a little bit spoilery. But it was such a good book, and I really love Strandberg's writing, and which is also why I read everything he writes pretty much. But yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book so much. Then we have Death Note, Black Edition in this case, which is written by Tsugumi Uba and illustrated by Takeshi Obata. And this was sort of among my first like delve into manga. I started reading a little bit of manga actually this year, Death Note being one of the first ones. In this one we meet a teenager named Light. He actually ends up finding this Death Note lying on the ground. If you possess one of these Death Note, you can write down names in it, and if you do write down a name in it, that means that that person is going to die. And you can even write down how you want the person to die, when the person is going to die, within a few, like, I think it's about a month in advance or something like that. And it's just really dark and like really sort of interesting, honestly. But Light actually realizes that he wants to rid the world of evil, but he also figures out that maybe the world isn't as black and white as he originally thought, because who counts as evil? Is it just if you commit a crime overall, or how bad of a crime have you to have committed to be able to count as truly evil and therefore deserving to die by Death Note? But yeah, it's a really interesting concept. It's really dark, but just a lot of twists and turns, and it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed this series so far. Then we have The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. This is a graphic novel. It's about a prince actually, and he hires this dressmaker to make dresses for him because at night he wants to go out to different places, but not as the prince. He goes out as Lady Crystalia. They're making a lot of newspapers because he has these amazing dresses as Lady Crystalia, and everybody wonders who is Lady Crystalia and everything like that. It's really beautiful story about a boy that is not always like completely happy in his own body, and he wants to be a girl sometimes. And it's really, really beautiful. I love the illustrations. I love the sort of friendship that gets between the dressmaker and the prince, and it was just so beautiful and definitely deserves to be on this list. Now we have Heartstopping Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. This is also a graphic novel. It's about the main character Charlie. He is gay. He's been treated really bad by this guy at school, who's actually more of a sort of a closet gay kid, and he doesn't want to come out to the entire school, so he's been treating Charlie really badly because he only wants to see him, you know, when nobody else knows, and he's been really mean to him and stuff like that. But one day he meets this other guy who's really kind and really nice, and he starts to falling for him. He starts to fall for him, but he doesn't really know if this guy is, you know, is he gay, is he bi, is he straight, he doesn't really know. And they form this beautiful, beautiful friendship, and this other guy is just trying to figure out what is his sexuality and stuff like that. And it's so beautiful, it's so cute, it's so heartwarming, and I love it so much. And now we have The Balance of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson. Of course, there needed to be a Brandon Sanderson book on this list. It was really hard just to narrow it down to one, because technically I read so many Brandon Sanderson books this year. I could just pretty much fill this entire list with just Brandon Sanderson. So I just chose the one I like the most, that gets to represent like all of his books this year. This happens to be the one, this is part of the second era in the Mistborn sort of universe, series, whatever you want to call it. And I just love the characters in these books so much. So these books actually takes place about 300 years after the original Mistborn era. We still have the same sort of magic where you inhale different kind of metals and you have different powers, you know, different things you can control and stuff like that. And I just don't really want to say a lot because, you know, spoiling, since this is the 6th book in the series and there's an entire Mistborn series to read beforehand. But it's really about trying to catch some bad guys using your magic. And I really want to reread these books already because they're awesome. Next one is actually the Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer. I think I started the year by reading the 3rd book or something like that. And I just really love this series. It's about a pair of twins called Alex and Connor. They get this sort of fairy tale book by the grandmother, and one day they actually get sucked into this book. They end up in the Land of Stories, which is pretty much a magical place where you can come across different, you know, fairy tale characters such as Little Red Riding Hood, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty and everything like that. And it's really fun, cute read. It's very magical, but yes, Alex and Connor has to work together with the characters in this sort of universe to be able to save this country from evil. And that's pretty much what the series is about. But I love it so much. It's so magical, and I just love Chris Colfer's writing and everything like that, and it's just awesome. But yeah, please let me know down below if you have read any of these books, and what, in that case, what you thought about them. And if you have made any kind of list like this on your own, please let me know down below what your favorite book was or series. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel by clicking the button down below. And yeah, I hope we see each other in the next one. Bye!